Local artist Tawny K with Millennial Woman. You are listening to The Takeover with Kelli and Maz, and we are joined in the studio by the very lovely Kelli K, Naturopath, for this.
Wellness Wednesdays on The Takeover. Brought to you by station sponsor Kelli K Naturopath. Book your free discovery call today to uncover better health and quality of life.
Welcome, Kelli. How are you?
Great, thank you.
There we go. Good, thank you. Good. So excited to have you in the studio tonight. We are discussing something that's very relevant, chronic fatigue and just being fatigued in general, but also burnout.
Yes, yeah. It's all kind of related, linked.
Yeah, there we go.
Hello.
Sorry, Kelli. Technical glitch there.
Yes, yep. Too many mics. I didn't know which one to use.
No, you're fine.
Yes, talking about fatigue and burnout, absolutely, yes, really important topic.
Yeah, I think particularly at this time of the year, it's something that a lot of us are feeling just tired in general. It's not even necessarily like sleep deprivation or anything like that, like physical exhaustion. It's just that we're tired because we're getting towards the end of the year. And when I was younger, I didn't get that. I didn't get like how a busy weekend could make you tired. I'm like, but you've slept since then. So how can you be tired from what you did yesterday? So you've slept overnight. Like, how does that work? But it's so true.
It is so true. It all catches up with us eventually. We have busy lives and we want to pack more and more into our days and our weeks and our months. Especially this time of year, we want to do everything and go to all the events and, enjoy the summer nights as well. And sometimes we forget to prioritise our sleep and prioritise our other aspects of self-care, which really protect us and help, support our bodies to prevent us getting from that stage of chronic fatigue or burnout or, that real deep exhaustion that people can feel.
And burnout, we've spoken about with Counsellor Ida for Moments for Mental Health. I think it was only a few weeks ago we spoke about burnout, and it's different to just being exhausted. It's actually feeling like you lose motivation. You feel like you can't continue in what you're doing. I guess it's a physical exhaustion, but it's also an emotional exhaustion as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it's actually can be really hard to come back from. Once someone is burnt out, they struggle to really muster up the energy or the motivation to go back to what it is that they were doing.
Yeah.
How do we spot the warning signs of that before we get to that point?
Well, I think if you're starting to experience like what you were saying before, where you're getting to that stage of feeling deeply fatigued or tired and you're resting but not feeling like you're recovering from that is a real red flag, I think, to start with. And also some of those emotional signs as well. So not just that physical fatigue, but that mental fatigue, like you're struggling to concentrate, you're struggling to make decisions, you're starting to feel overwhelmed a little bit more easily than you normally would.
Irritable.
Yeah, some of those smaller things that would normally be like water off a duck's back is just start to get to you. So I'd really pay attention to those things. But then also perhaps there's some physical things as well. Maybe you're starting to struggle with sleep, like, your sleep's being disturbed, falling asleep's an issue. Perhaps you're noticing changes in your body in terms of hunger cues or cravings. And, for the females out there as well, you might find that your menstrual cycle changes as well. So all of those sorts of things can be clues that you might be, moving into that kind of post-stress, that real exhaustion kind of stage where your body's not really recovering and you're mentally not recovering as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I know, Holly, you and I were chatting a little bit off air about how we've both been feeling so tired lately, and it's not just a little bit of exhaustion, but it's actually like a build-up because it's that time of the year.
Yeah, it's so true. Everything's piling up, I think, like coming into Christmas and uni and exams and year 12s are finishing up. So, there's just heaps going on.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to, as you said, like not just feel tired, but feel so exhausted that you don't know how to, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break and then come back with some of your practical tips, Kelli, for actually preventing this, I suppose.
Yeah, sure.
Before it becomes an issue, nipping it in the bud, so to speak. We're going to do that straight after this one. It's the latest from Lauren Daigle. These are the days. You're on Life FM on the takeover for Wellness Wednesday with Holly, Maz and Kelli K, Naturopath.
Lauren Daigle with These Are the Days here on Life FM, and we are in the middle of our Wellness Wednesday with Kelli K, Naturopath.
We are, and tonight we are discussing a very important topic, Kelli. That is burnout, or just, fatigue in general, but specifically that extended fatigue or that real
abnormal
fatigue. Yeah. It's kind of getting more serious, I suppose, by that point.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's going on for a prolonged time, or it's interfering with you being able to do your normal day-to-day stuff, your normal school or work or whatever, uni, whatever it is, or if you're finding that you're not, when you rest, you're not recovering from that fatigue. So they're kind of all kind of red flags that it might be more than just being a bit busy or burning the candle at both ends, which we do, but we should be able to then recover from that with rest. And so if we're not, I would encourage people to, dig a bit deeper and see what might be going on there. Is it just that you're really exhausted, you've had a huge year, you've had lots of stress, or is there something deeper underneath that might be going on?
Okay.
So there's lots of different things that might cause someone to feel more fatigued than they should.
I know that, I guess there's probably other things that could be causing it as well, like perhaps diet even and things like that
definitely
could be impacting.
Yeah, diet is a huge one. It affects every part of our being.
Yes.
So, it's definitely, if we don't have those nutrients there to produce that energy in the first place, and that's going to be a real problem.
Yeah.
But things like, a super common thing that I see is, iron deficiency and B12 deficiency. And of course, there are other deficiencies as well. They're a little bit more nuanced and harder to test for, that need a deeper assessment. But something like that could be driving the fatigue as well.
And as you were saying, stress can be a big part of it. And I think that when we've been chatting about burnout in the past with Counsellor Ida for Moments for Mental Health, we even touched on the fact that when you are burnt out, it can be really hard to sleep because you are perhaps stressed, or you're stressed because you're sleep deprived, and then that stops you from getting good quality sleep and all of that sort of thing.
Yeah, and it becomes a vicious cycle then, because if you don't get enough sleep, that's obviously going to...
fueling that.
Yeah, that's going to fuel that fatigue, and it's going to make it harder then to cope with that stress the next day.
Yeah.
And there are physiological reasons for that, and then there are also, psychological or emotional reasons for that as well. If we're stewing over things at night, or, that racing mind. People often will describe it as being wired and tired. So they feel super exhausted, but they just also have that sense of being really wired, and their mind's going at 100 miles an hour.
And they can't stop.
Yeah, and it's really hard to break that cycle. That is partly to do with what might be going on in your life, but that can also be a response to certain stress hormones and things like that as well. So, there's definitely things then that you can address to help your body cope better with that stress, and to help sort of improve your energy levels long term.
I know we've spoken a little bit about sleep in the past, but other than sleep, how else can we improve our rest? Are there sort of other things we can do to stop ourselves from burning out, rather than, obviously getting a good night's sleep is a great place to start, and it's very important, but as well as that, what else can we do?
So one of the things that I sometimes talk to clients about is this idea of radical rest. So often people think they're resting when they're sitting in front of the TV or when they're scrolling on their phone, or they're sort of half resting, but they're actually working on the couch. So this idea of actually being lying down horizontal with your eyes closed, and really actually just cutting out as much stimulation as possible, and letting your body and your mind just sort of wind down. That idea of true rest is really important. And some things that you can do to help that as well is things like turning off notifications on your phone. So only keep the absolute essentials on. Because every time that ding goes off, it sets off stress hormones in your body, and it can drive that response as well. And then also being okay to say no to things as well. Like pick and choose, prioritise what you're going to be doing. If there's things that are not essential, then decide how important they are to you and whether you want to invest that energy in that. And resting either side of events and things that you have to do. So the other thing that I talk to clients about, it's not about having one full day where you absolutely do nothing and you do the massage and you do the naps and you do all the really nice restful stuff, but it's about microdosing, having small little fills throughout the day. So stopping for 5 minutes to do some deep breathing or to do a mindfulness exercise, or stopping to go outside and just sit in the sun for a few minutes. Stopping to make sure you're drinking enough water, all of those sorts of little things throughout the day accumulate, and they really can make a big difference in supporting your body and supporting your energy levels.
It's a lot of, I guess, self-care, isn't it?
It really, it comes back to self-care, and it's about finding the gaps for you in your life. Is it nutrition? Is that an area where you're lacking? Or is it having a good sleep routine? Is that the area where you need to work on? Or having those finding little micro fills throughout the day. So, it all adds up. Yeah, for sure. Some really good tips and advice there, Kelli. Thank you so much. And, of course, if you've got a question specifically for Kelli, whether it's based on burnout or fatigue or if it's anything else, she is an absolute wealth of knowledge. So please text in on 0413 90 1079, or you can send us a DM on socials, Life FM Adelaide. Kelli, thank you so much. I think particularly going into the silly season, which is called the silly season for a reason, we really need to be more aware of, I guess, resting. And I think it's so hard as well when there are so many people to see. We were even just chatting about this off air. Like, you have a Christmas party with your work friends, with your church friends, with your family on one side of the family, and then another side of the family, and then your partner's family, and then you've got like 10 different Christmas events over a couple of weeks, and then you've got catch-ups and things. It becomes exhausting, but it's also, we feel like we don't want to miss out on those things because it's a special time of the year. It only happens once a year. So just, I guess, being aware of that is really important. And some of those things can actually fill you up as well. So it's not about putting all of that to the side. It's just about prioritizing, according to what you need. And if you do feel that the fatigue that you're experiencing is abnormal for what you would expect, then don't just assume that it's because of stress or because of you had a few late nights or whatever. Actually go and talk to someone, whether it's your GP or whether it's coming to see a naturopath or nutritionist or going to see a counsellor, and try and dig a little bit deeper as to what's going on, just to make sure that, everything's tickety-boo.
Yes, exactly. Going into summer and wanting to make sure we can enjoy it as much as possible. Kelli, thank you so much for joining us, as always, for another Wellness Wednesdays. It's always great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.